Good morning, friends. Now we are discussing the process of purchasing and concept of tenders in this module. So, purchasing or the procurement process. So, we'll be having the following steps. So, first step is identification of the need to purchase. So, the particular department which needs to purchase something will place the purchase request with the purchase department. So, this is the first step. So, that is why the purchase is needed will be identified by the particular department which is deciding to purchase something. So that purchase request will be sent to the purchase department. So from the purchase department, the file will be processed to the finance department for the release of the funds necessary. So then the next step is the selection of the supplier or the vendor. First, we will make the list of all the possible vendors through the professional contacts. So that will be made. Once the list is done, so the vendors will be who are selected will be contacted to ensure for RFP and RFQ. So that is request for proposal and request for quotation. So the vendors, selected vendors will be contacted and they will be asked to send the request for proposal. That is, the proposal should be sent from the vendor. Explaining about the materials available with them and the quotation, the price quotation should also be sent to the buyer. So once these requests will be sent from the vendors, so the vendors are finalized based on the negotiations. So that is the second step. That is selection of the supplier or the vendor. So third step is the placement of purchase orders. So once the vendor is finalized, so the contracts will be generated. So once the competent authority approves the purchase, that is based on the negotiation with the vendor, so he will send a quotation. So the contract agreements will be generated. Once the competent authority approves the purchase, so the purchase orders will be placed. So vendor follow-up. Once the order is placed with the selected vendor, so regular follow-up will be done so that there will not be any missed delivery dates. To ensure that so the delivery is made according to the agreement made. So then inspection and acceptance or rejection of the material received. Once the material arrived at the premises, so thorough inspection will be carried out and checked for contracted specification, whether the material sent is meeting the specification mentioned in the agreement. So then the last step is vendor rating or certification and the payment authorization. So until the concerned authority releases the payment, so we'll not say that purchase process is complete. So once the payment is delivered to the vendor, then only we announce that the purchase process is completed. Also, the performance of all the vendors will be rated and updated in the records in future. So these performance of the vendors will be studied and accordingly the suitable vendor will be selected. Then tenders concept. So what is a tender? So it is an open invitation to buy or sell the goods or services. So any individual or an organization can put the tenders who are interested in supplying something what they have given in the advertisement. The best competitive offer, that is the person or the organization who has quoted the lowest bid is selected in the presence of all the bidders or in the presence of their representatives. Who can float the tenders? So a buyer, it may be a government organization or a large private company. As and when uh, it needs to buy goods, they can float the tenders. At the same time, that particular government organization or the private company, if it wants to sell the used machinery, scrap or the surplus products, so either for buying the products or for selling the products, this government organization or any large sized private company can float the tenders. So types of the tenders. So we have open tenders and second one is limited or the closed tender. So open tender. So the name itself says that anyone can participate in the open tender. So first the bidder has to ensure that he is fulfilling the minimum pre-qualification criteria. So that is specified in the tender document. So, if the bidder, if he fails to fulfill the minimum pre-qualification mentioned in the tender document, whatever payment that is fees he has paid initially, so that will be forbidden. So the open tender has to be advertised in the newspaper or in any electronic media. So usually the lowest bidder is going to win the contract. Second one is the limited or the closed tender. Here only pre-qualified or the bidders who are already in the panel will be allowed to participate. So this closed tender is not open to the public. So usually these closed tenders are not going to get advertised in newspaper or in any media. So, though the names of the bidders who are already in the panel, who are already having some pre-qualification, only a limited uh, uh, participants will be allowed to participate in this closed tender. So, whether it is open tender or the closed tender, so who is going to bid the lowest price is going to win the contract. So this open tender or the closed tender is the procedure to be followed by must for any government organization and in large sized companies. Thank you.